one, they see economic law. We see the ingenuity and creative spirit of our people. We are AIT News, fresh, authentic views of Africa. How would you rather see the world? AIT News, all sides, all the time.
Over 56,000 projects worth 12 trillion naira, about twice the total figure of the national budget, abandoned across Nigeria. Thousands of projects completed, but simply not working. Some awarded or flagged off, but nothing is on the ground. I am TV. Tell communities and institutions.
All right, just before I introduce my guests, we have some other materials too. We're told that this man that you are going to see in this video was a target of yesterday morning's attack at the St. Philip's Catholic Church in Ozobolo in Anambra State. We were told that he was the target, but he got wind of what was coming his way, ran away. But some members of his family were caught in that crossfire yesterday. I told you about the video. I don't know why the video is not playing. Okay, that's him. We were told that that's him. Ebube Chukwuzo, Aloysius Ikegwonu, Chief Ebube Chukwuzo 1 of Ozubulu. And, well, perhaps this was one of the events marking his 36 years. And that church, we were told to, he built it, that St. Philip's Church, he built it to mark his 36 years. If somebody worked hard for money, will he spend it this way? I just doubt it. It just shows how we have our priorities upside down in this country. If you have security, well, if it's him, well, at least that adds to all the public evidence against him. If it's not him, whoever that one is, because that also happened in Nigeria, whoever that one is, we should just name and shame him as well. He's a disgrace to the society. Livingstone Wechie is here, Executive Director, Founder, the Integrity Group. Livingstone, good to see you.
Thank you. Good morning, Gbenga.
All right, let's just put all of that Anambra saga behind us. Let's focus on the matter at hand.
Well, first of all, I think I joined to express
outrage.
It's quite a heartbreaking story that came up yesterday, went viral on the internet, to say sorry to Anambra State people, but measures must be taken to bring perpetrators to justice, because the quick conclusion by the police saying that it was just a quarrel between two billionaire brothers is very suspicious and very worrisome.
Yes.
We won't leave it at that. I don't think that is fair enough for the bereaved and the victims. Condolence.
Okay. All right. I don't know how much of the activities of the Rivers State government were able to track in the last over a little over a week now.
Yes.
How much of Governor WIKE's activities we have been able to track in almost all of his outings in the past few days. Maybe it's carefully chosen. He has made deliberate effort to kind of respond to most of the allegations that you raised here the last time you appeared.
Yes.
I think it started with the allegations. Okay, you had not made that the one on the judges' quarters.
Yes.
Yeah, but it started with the allegations you made in a letter that was also published in the media about the proposed visit of the Chief Justice of Nigeria to Rivers State and all of that.
And that of the acting president.
And that of the acting president. I think we have the two together. Let me take what he said.
Okay.
So you'll be able to know
That's
what
right.
to respond
That's
to.
fair enough.
All right, let's go.
It's the 106th quarterly meeting of the River State Council of Traditional Rulers. Like it's become customary of him, Governor Nyesom Wike has come to brief the monarchs about recent developments in the state. The governor started by drawing the attention of the gathering to what he says are efforts in some quarters to dent the image of the Chief Justice of the Federation simply because he honored the state's invitation to flag off the construction of residences for judges.
The acting president came to commission my projects. Nobody talked about anything. CJN, who is the head of another arm of government, came to flag judges' quarters, and somebody who played politics to the level of destroying a man whom by God's grace has gotten into his peak.
The governor fingered his predecessor, Rotimi Amechi, whose appeal comes up at the Supreme Court of spearheading the plot to blackmail the judiciary.
Oh, that the governor said he has the state judges, he has the national judiciary in his pocket. There's no time this young man has not blackmailed judiciary, ridiculed judiciary. The same judiciary in 2007 that gave judgment to a man who did not contest election.
Governor Wike also responded to allegations of forgery made against him by his predecessor.
Is it not true that we paid $39 million for Caribbean White Hospital? Is it not true that there's no hospital called Caribbean White Hospital? Does anybody need to forge a document to know which you, as the governor, them had come out to say, I have paid $39 million. Where is the hospital?
While assuring the traditional rulers of his administration's support, Nyesom Wike urged the monarchs to shun acts capable of causing disaffection in the state. It's the start of a process of delivering on the first phase of a promise to provide decent and secured residences for judicial officers in Rivers State. A brainchild of Governor Nyesom Wike, the judges' quarters is in line with his administration's policy to improve the well-being of judicial officers and also strengthen judicial independence and enhance justice delivery to the people.
When you are in office, you have all the services that you need in terms of security. That helps you to discharge your functions as a judicial officer, protection against even some of those whom you might have committed to prison in the discharge of your functions. But on retirement, you are just left open and bare. That is when you need these protections the more. But you don't have them.
Located in Elele.
All right, Livingstone, there you have it. I think we have like 2 different or 3 different events. First of all, you wrote a letter to the Chief Justice of Nigeria not to be in Rivers State. But of course, he was in Rivers State. He was at that foundation laying stage. What do you have against the project, which many will consider as laudable, to provide accommodation for judges when they have retired?
First of all, I want to say that I and my organization acted very responsibly, because there are civic duties of citizens. Citizens are said to have civic duties. State authorities have statutory duties, if you want to borrow that line of the argument. We have raised the question before the Rivers State Governor, where is our state budget? For 2 years and counting, contracts have been awarded, projects are being carried out, and we don't have any budget in Rivers State. And what we did in writing that letter, particularly myself, taking up the task, even if many people in Rivers State have been, let me use the word silenced, because of the fear of being killed, then go kill us. I said, no, somebody has to come to the rescue. We drew the attention of the CJN, including the acting president, because there were 2 events, one for the CJN and the other for the acting president. That, look, CJN, with the highest respect, your coming to Rivers State to flag off the judges' quarter is laudable, but the foundation on which that flag off is premised is already faulty, because we don't have a budget, and more so, coming to flag it off with me, end up giving judicial, stamp of approval to that particular project because it's not captured in any accessible budget anywhere by any Rivers person. Now, to further give, credence to the letter we wrote, just on the 4th of August, 2017, a publication was made, signed by Olasubo Sashore, S.A.N. Shashore, S.A.N. And I want to use just 1 minute to read it out. He said, it has come to the notice of the Total EMP, Nigeria Closed Pension Funds Administrators, that the Rivers State government led by the Rivers State governor has officially flagged off the construction of the Rivers State judges' quarters on a pension fund asset, private property managed by Total EMP, situated at Rumeme, lying at the end of Elelewon Street, despite the pendency of a consent order of injunction. It goes ahead to say the property is more particularly delineated in a particular plan by Mr. Eyo, license surveyor, annexed to a deed of assignment dated 21st May 2004 and registered on number 44 of page 44, volume 291 of the Land Registry, Port Harcourt, between Omuna Construction Limited as assigner and Total EMP, in respect of which the consent of the governor was duly sought and obtained in a suit pending before the Port Harcourt High Court, PHC 1440/2015, between Total EMP, the governor of Rivers State, and the Attorney General. The general public is hereby advised that in the interest of the need for due observance of the Nigerian law and of the integrity of the Nigerian judicial system, no further action should be taken in respect of the property until the court has taken a decision in the matter. The matter.
Are you alleging, well, that publication seems to be saying that parcel of land is in litigation.
It's in litigation, and that it belongs to Total EMP, and there is an injunction. There is an injunction restraining the Rivers State government and all other parties from making use of that land in any way. And it stated clearly that it is to the knowledge of the governor, it's to the full knowledge of the Rivers State government. But you can see that our question to the CJN, with all due respect, was to save him from becoming a collegiate colleague of the governor or the political class in this particular matter, because it preempts the court that the CJN, who is the #1 judiciary or judicial officer in Nigeria, comes to carry out an event turning blind eyes to a subsisting injunction of a competent court of jurisdiction on that particular property. We did not act as busybodies. We only raised questions and concerns. And, when you talk about due diligence in this particular case, I have the highest respect for the CJN, and our duty here was to ensure that he does not fall into that pit. Because part of what we stated in that letter is that the governor of Rivers State is on a face-saving mission. Because after we came up on air to raise those questions of forgery of the documents with which Rotimi AMAECHI was wrongfully indicted, he lined up several activities for the week to see how he can save himself from the situation. Now, he made a statement at that event that a young man, he calls him a hungry young man, was given money to go and say on TV that documents were forged.
You don't need anybody to say that is who. That is reference to
well, of course, I don't need anybody. Who raised the issue of forgery? I raised the issue of forgery. But it's sad that our governor, our very amiable governor, will speak so irresponsibly with the highest respect.
Please.
With the highest respect. I regard it an irresponsible statement. He's not an irresponsible person, but I regard that statement an irresponsible statement. Reason being that he's a public servant, and he is there on account of public votes, and he owes a duty not to denigrate his citizens. But does that not go to reveal to the youths in Rivers State that your governor sees you as being hungry and poor? But again, that also vindicates me, because contrary to the sideline gossips that I was giving so much money, I'm vindicated, and he has come to say that, yes, exactly, he couldn't have given me so much money and yet I became hungry. So it means that I wasn't paid. Thank God for all of that, because you see, God is a miraculous God and he has his ways of doing things. But again, it also raises another question, that your citizens could be referred to as hungry and poor. But I wouldn't dwell on that. But Rivers people, particularly the young generation, should know the perception of the governor about them.
What I'd like you to dwell on are fast. First of all, the critical question that a lot of people have been asking since your last time has been, what is your interest in all of this?
My interest...
Beyond being a citizen of Rivers State, or is your interest, or is being a citizen of Rivers State and somebody who is entitled to know how the money belonging to the state is spent, does that cover all of what we are doing? And a lot of people will also not know that the Integrity Group has been involved in this kind of crusade for a very long time.
Yes.
It's not just starting now.
Yes. Gbenga, I was once Port Harcourt City Coordinator of the National Anti-Corruption Volunteer Corps, the ICPC. I was trained by the ICPC to do what I'm doing. So it's not just one desperate or ambitious person coming out from somewhere. My publications are online on hard copies and so on. I worked with Folu Olamiti, who was then the national coordinator, who still works with the ICPC. I was the Port Harcourt City Coordinator then. So you can see that I have a training and I have a background on what I'm doing, and it's part of my commitment to my state. Many people have been cowed, but you see, you're living in a house, beautiful as it seems, the foundation is erroneous, and you're raising questions that if we don't correct the foundation, this house will collapse on our heads. It behoves on someone to raise that question. And it's a duty we all owe to hold government to account that you must explain every kobo. The governor, if you listen to all his speeches, he has not commented on the budget. A fellow within his quarters came up to say if the budget is published that it will be hacked.
Hacked? How?
It will be hacked. I don't know. That's what he said. I don't want to mention his name, but he knows himself. And Port Harcourt people were totally astonished when he said that on a live radio show in Port Harcourt. He said it will be hacked. The governor has not responded to that issue of the budget. He only goes to dwell on the issue of forgery. May I state this for the records, that the governor of Rivers State and the government of Rivers State has spent more monies on smear campaign with a focus on Chibike Rotimi AMAECHI than it has spent on projecting the image of Rivers State. You can see more publications, you can see too many events where Rotimi AMAECHI becomes the talk of the day on major state functions and not to deal with the issue of the image of the state and how the state makes progress. Now, the other day, I think about a month or two ago, America's ambassador to Nigeria visited the government house. And instead of raising the issue of development on how Rivers State will, explore opportunities and, come into bilateral relationships with the U.S., the governor tables Nsema Ekere on the table, the MD of NDDC, and tells the ambassador that, look, Nsema Ekere is using NDDC money to sponsor APC, and that's what they're doing because he wants to be governor of Akwa Ibom State. And I wept because what is the business of Donald Trump or the ambassador with one fellow somewhere called Nsema Ekere in one local community in Akwa Ibom State in Nigeria? You raise issues and dwell on them to the extent that it brings about development for our people. But let me also inform you that part of the challenges I had, because I have said it to various other media houses, that only the governor can speak on this issue that I've raised on forgery and other matters that go with it. Because he, in terms of bringing documents to me, he established direct contact with me. None of his state officials, as of today, can speak. Only him knows what transpired. But at the point, he authorized personally the release of those documents.
To you.
And to me. And an issue came up where, because at the point, Nsema Ekere, I raised this issue here, became an issue in his political debates. And they were planning a smear, a terrible blackmail campaign against that gentleman. And I saw all this coming and I was like, look, we can't continue to progress in error. Let's deal with this issue. And recall that an action in court was filed by 3 companies mentioned, Advanced Consulting and
Result Import Export.
I think the third one, a 500 million naira libel suit was filed against me.
Yeah.
And when that suit was filed, one of the thoughts that came to my mind was, what must have emboldened these companies to file these suits against me?
And asking for this kind of amount.
Asking for this kind of amount, if indeed they are guilty as charged. If indeed there is something I don't know yet, And
These were part of the companies you made allegations against in your campaign against Rotimi Amechi that
exactly. Time. And they filed that suit here in Abuja. And I had lawyers who were assigned to, because I signed the indemnity forms for the 3 other publishing companies who published those materials.
The allegations against.
And so exactly. So arrangements were made to represent all of them because of that indemnity. And I went on to probe. And when I had contact with the governor, because it became a public issue, and I was in regular touch with the state government because documents needed to come from them. And I'm like,
for you to defend yourself,
for me to defend myself
against these allegations.
Yes, because I raised 2 issues: prosecute this man if these documents are genuine. On the other hand, I need to save my head because I will not come to take up this kind of matter, and at the end of the day, I look left and right. I don't have any protection from anywhere. And you know what the governor told me? We'll take care of the judges. We'll take care of the judges. It gave me a lot of cause for concern. I mentioned to you here the last time I came that I have a worry that the issues that I have raised, borders on my life being on the line. And it's a fundamental question because on the other issue of prosecution not coming forth and the issue of libel flying very fast will fall back at me because the tenure is concluding and the man says the man will take care of the judges on one hand, which raises questions about his relationship with the judiciary, which I don't know. Many controversial statements have been made to that effect, that he has something running with the judges. And again, the issue of he's not prosecuting Rotimi Amechi. And I asked the question, why won't Rotimi Amechi be prosecuted if these documents are genuine? Because a lot of rounds, a lot of campaign has been made. How come he goes on air to say the matter is in court? The matter was not in court while the panel was yet sitting. A report was submitted, white paper was issued. It was at the point when prosecution was to take place that the narrative changed to the matter is in court. And while dealing with that, he goes on air to say that he is very sure of the judgment that will come from the Supreme Court because in his own opinion, he was so certain, which also raises a curious question as to whether he has become so sure. Maybe he may be working in concert with these judges. And I am in the middle of this fire. And some other persons have come to say, you should have kept quiet. I said, so bloody word that I spoke. Which is more honorable? That I came out to tell the story of what is playing out, or I keep quiet and die in silence and live with whose conscience? That's the question. Because the authority and the confidence with which he speaks, with so much assurance of what may be the outcome of the judgment from court, gives me worries. Is it that they are in alliance, haven't scripted a judgment between himself and these justices, which I think the public should begin to raise more questions?
Let me get something clear. Is your worry the fact that because you needed to defend yourself against the allegations made against you in those libel suits?
Yes.
Where the applicants are asking for 500 million naira.
Yes.
Was it at that point that you then discovered that you didn't have anything to defend yourself in terms of documents that you had relied on before to make those allegations that these companies are in court against you over?
Gbenga, as interactions, I will not disclose a lot of things here. I'm waiting for them to officially respond. A lot of things played out. Many waters have gone under the bridge. I will not preempt them. I've told you those documents were forged by the Rivers State government, led by the current governor, His Excellency Livingstone Wechie. He can't deny it. Now, let me give you a foundation. Aside from that fact, there have been several issues that came up. Recently, he commissioned a Chief of Army Staff guest house in Port Harcourt and came on air to say when Rotimi Amechi was governor that he revoked the CFO. And eventually, a letter came up from the army quarters that the CFO was never revoked because the property ab initio belonged to the Rivers State government, which it voluntarily donated to the Nigerian army. And the army, on a letter dated 21st of March 2012, that is the letter addressed to the governor. It said vacation of the brigade guest house in Old GRA, that's the government reserved area of Port Harcourt. And they gave grounds that they received the instruction from the army higher command to leave that place. I think it was during that Boko Haram uprising, and they had to leave to the barracks.
Okay, because
they
that place was vulnerable.
Citizens, what's it called, civilian premises back to the barracks. Okay. But he came up and, misled the public to say that Rotimi AMAECHI revoked the CFO. And we went back to ask questions. But the army won't talk. The army is not a media-friendly organization, as it were, particularly on these political issues. He came here to say he has a shocking video that will shock the whole world, where INEC officials or police and APC officials were holding meetings on how to rig Rivers State election. Up to today, those videos have not been published. He said he will release them, and that has been overtaken. He came up to say he has evidence on the Ikoyi money that was discovered, that and then gave the federal government an ultimatum within which, if they do not, take
There's
steps.
a recent development on that Ikoyi gate.
Exactly.
You thought it was 34 million?
That's what we heard.
It's more than that. Let me show you something. It was one of the events that the governor also undertook this past couple of days, where he spoke on the Ikoyi gate. And he gave the figure as $300 and something million. Wow. If I heard him rightly. Okay, let's hear him together. Maybe I'll be able to then correct my facts.
The last few weeks in Nigeria have witnessed shocking discoveries of large sums of money in some parts of the country by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. The most shocking discovery so far is the $43.4 million at a luxury apartment in the highbrow area of Ikoyi in Lagos State. While speculation is still going on about the ownership of the recovered funds, a new twist on Friday emerged to the story, as the Rivers State government laid claim to the money.
Even they have quarrel with the EFCC, why can't you name those who have this money? But from our investigation, we have found out the money belongs to the Ministry of Transportation, and we have told that it is the money that was sold the gas turbine, $309 million. That money belongs to the Rivers State government.
The governor also refuted claims made by the National Intelligence Agency. While calling on the federal government to return the recovered funds to the coffers of the state government, Governor WIKE wants a panel of inquiry set up to look into the matter.
I want the president to set up a panel of inquiry. Let NIA come out and how they kept the money, who owned the flats, that this money was found. And let us ask them questions. When was this money kept there? So, coming to tell us that it's NIA, it's not acceptable. The money belongs to the Rivers State government, which is from the former governor of the state. They should return the money to us. Else, we'll take all legal steps to challenge the federal government.
Nyesom Wike says the government and people of Rivers State will stop at nothing until the recovered funds.
Well, this particular one, the threat has gone on for too long. I'm aware that the EFCC went to court on this money. First of all, got an interim order.
Yes, to take possession of the money.
To take possession of the money, to temporarily forfeit it. Yes. And then the court gave a public notice to anybody who has any claim to the money to come forward and prove it.
Yes.
That went on for some time. Nobody came forward.
Good.
Before the court finally forfeited the money to the federal government of Nigeria.
Yes. I doubt any sincerity, any honesty, any integrity by what the governor says, because he has a latitude to explore these opportunities that have been opened up. He has come out severally to make bogus claims, with all due respect, on some of these issues, and these are major public matters. Like you said, the court gave window, but the Rivers State government never came forward. Because, let me say this, I'm not here holding brief for Rotimi AMAECHI. These two personalities are my kinsmen. We are all brothers. But to capitalize on whatever political sentiment as a tool to destroy the other, and then me, I'm in the middle, my children will grow up tomorrow, and Rotimi AMAECHI's children will see them as children whose father carried out smear campaign to destroy the name of their father. I will not be part of that history, because it's a history built on mischief and bad faith. So on this particular issue, remember, we are still placing a demand. Rivers State Governor and the government of Rivers State publish Rivers State budget. Let's leave this window dressing and cover-ups. He should address the issue of state budget, and we are still emphasizing. Of course, my life has been attempted twice after I left your program. Gbenga, I won't be surprised that you're also being threatened from certain quarters.
No,
a lot of things have been playing out. I've gotten calls from his emissaries, those who are saying, continue. Those who are saying, let's talk with you, and so on. And one of them, chief amongst them, called and went ahead to say any further appearance by me on any of these media platforms will not be in my interest. I understand what he said, my life is under threat, but I'm not afraid, because what I'm doing is in good faith, and I know that he that keeps Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. So on that premise, we are demanding, publish our budget. Look at the three arms of government in Rivers State: the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature. There is nothing to show. The only functional office in the Rivers State government is the governor himself. Not just the office, but the governor himself. This is 2 years plus. The Rivers State House of Assembly has not had any constituency project allocations given to her. All they cry for is paucity of funds. Meanwhile, the governor says they are running Jesus economy, that there is no recession in Rivers State. Money is coming in, IGR is boosting, French Paris fund loan refunds is taking place. None of these three arms of government, less than 20 million naira, is given to the Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly on a monthly basis to run the Rivers State House of Assembly.
But he's not complaining.
No. He wouldn't complain, but because we are the stakeholders, we are the owners of the system as the citizens of the state, we owe a duty and we owe a responsibility to raise questions that the Rivers State House of Assembly has turned to a rubber stamp and cannot, all they do is to screen and confirm. They've not been able to question any of the exercises. Does it not worry the Rivers State House of Assembly that a budget law, it passed twice, 2016, 2017, is not public up to today, whereas their job as oversight functions is to carry out oversight on projects that are carried out on some of these budgetary programs, and including the procurement plan of the state, because two fundamental issues, no matter how high a government cries, two issues that are key and germane in governance: procurement and budget. And the current government of Rivers State has failed woefully on these two. There is nothing to show that it has any credibility on procurement and budget, because they have remained secret documents, classified and only accessible to the governor himself. And I think you should see it as a worthy cause. If I could own up and tell the story of what played out, and if indeed the governor wants peace and reconciliation, which everybody desires, own up and let Rotimi Amechi know that he forged these documents, and all of these campaigns you've been holding against him were mere political campaigns premised in bad faith. And Rivers State will move forward. It's my desire that we make progress as a state. I'm not a governor. I've never been one. It's not a big deal being a governor. But you see, these are public offices, and you owe a duty to give account to citizens. The judiciary, as it were, has not had any statutory allocation captured in the budgets, if at all there is a budget, including the House of Assembly. The House of Assembly goes cap in hand to the governor to carry out the least job of supplies of tissue papers in Rivers State. Let them come forward to deny it, and they should bring evidence to that effect.
Livingstone, are you saying that if there's nowhere where I can go now, either online or offline, that I can actually source for and get the Rivers State budget?
After my program
for
here,
this year.
after my appearance here on your show, a statement was issued. Articles were written. Some children wrote articles on Facebook, including those who call themselves media aides to the governor, and started issuing press statements on budget, summary of 2 or 3 pages, whereas you see what the governor submitted at the House Assembly, volumes. Those volumes disappeared and appeared only on the governor's table. You can't trace Rivers State government budgets anywhere. And
why is it difficult for you to trace if, as transparency, the integrity grew? All these years, that has been your area of specialization,
but it's not available.
Trained to track.
It's not available. Only the governor has the budget. It's not available. His commissioners have appeared on radio stations several times, and they have been a challenge has been thrown at them. What is the budget of your ministry? None of the MDAs have budgetary allocation. This is not time to begin to compare two administrations, but we had MDAs under the past administration awarding contracts and carrying out programs. The officials of the current Rivers State government were made to become paupers in government by way of not having access to run their MDAs because the governor does everything by himself. Nobody will be bold enough to say the things I'm saying. But these are clear facts, and that's why we are beginning to raise questions whether the federal government is being fair, because about 18 states have their budgets hidden. Whether the federal government, the Ministry of Finance, is being fair in making lump sum allocation to states that don't have budgets. Whether it falls within the global standards in terms of procurement practices, because an issue that came up in the course of our finding, there was this $200 million loan the Rivers State government sought to access for water projects in Rivers State. The past administration followed up that loan to a certain point. And when this government inherited it and efforts were made to access that money, on the last count, the World Bank requested, publish the budget and the procurement plan to show how these monies will be expended. That was how Rivers State backed off because the governor was not willing to make those budget documents public or the procurement plans. The loans cannot be accessed because you cannot trick and cow World Bank. You may do that to Rivers people. But I say this to mean that the Rivers State governor should be honorable enough. He's a bold, charismatic, and courageous gentleman. I feel very sad that he comes to refer to Rotimi Amechi, who was our former governor. I'm not Rotimi Amechi's fan, but calling him that young man. Rotimi Amechi is a senior, and he's an African to do so. But that's not the issue. The bottom line is that the Rivers State governor is hiding our budgets. Let him take the necessary steps and publish the budgets for public scrutiny. We want to scrutinize, because if you're saying Rotimi Amechi is a thief, if that's what you're saying, and that is what you're saying, we want to also know whether you're not a thief also, or if you have not even done worse than Amechi, because you can hold Amechi in your own allegations on itemized issues. But this is the entire father of all the issues, budget and procurement. And for 2 years, immediately you came on board in 29th of May 2015, the budget Rotimi Amechi left on the website, you pulled it down. And up to today, nobody has been able to access Rivers State government budgets. So we're asking whether
the official website
of the state. We're asking questions because there may be some legal fireworks. People have asked. Livingstone Wechie is on a frolic of some organization that I belong to came on air to say we are suspending and expelling him. That's not my worry. The issue is that on this issue, I was sole signatory to every petition, every document, and I have the patent right to determine. And there is no crime in what I have done, because I did what I did, including the affidavits I swore to, in good faith, believing that those documents were true. And if in the event under the Evidence Act, I discovered that they are not as I thought, I have the right to swear a retraction affidavit, which I have done.
Yeah, but doesn't that make you a kind of character that is not reliable and dependable? Because a lot of people will say, if truly the interest of Rivers State was at upper level, before you jumped on the bandwagon of pull Amechi down, why didn't you do due diligence on all of those documents that the Rivers State government gave to you?
Documents that they gave to you on CTC. Which other due diligence do you need?
CTC as in a
certified true copies. Which other due diligence do you need? You don't need any further due diligence. But like I said, I will not preempt. I'm waiting for them somewhere, because it's our state. Nobody will die. It's our state. The state government should be bold enough to come forward and, in establishing the forgery or otherwise of those documents, also bring the budgets of 2015, 16, and 17. Let us scrutinize all of them and know who, if at all anybody stole money, who stole more money. And let's know who among them deceived the people of Rivers State. Because we are dwelling on issues touching on budgets. And if I've acted on the premise of what the law says, who cares about what anybody thinks? Because equity acts in personam. It acts on the individual. It's about my name. It's about a document I signed. And I am taking responsibility for my actions. And you know why I don't regret, Gbenga? Posterity will judge. The public, some section of the public went agog and went up in flames. Livingstone cannot be reliable. He's not a man of integrity. Gbenga, what is integrity? Seeing or realizing yourself on an issue and owning up, or keeping quiet because of what people will say. What is integrity? How many people have the courage to take the steps I have taken, to go through this part of the valley of the shadow of death, if not that the Lord has been with me. I have no father who has occupied any public office or any government office. My family name, except for me coming on board here, is not known anywhere. But I have come up taking a pioneer position to raise questions on governance. I think the public should have a rethink, because you must not be blinded by your partisanship loyalty. We must rise above the primordial sentiment of the partisan fray and begin to deal with very pertinent issues. We dealt with the issue of revocation of CFO the other day by the governor from a hotel called Novotel. Some persons were celebrating it. River State government is on CNN advertising that investors should come into the state. And the governor, very respectfully to him, took a very intemperate decision and revoked the CFO of that hotel, which is a global brand. And you're asking investors to come in. How? We are saying no. Before you must indeed ensure development of the state, there must be an enabling environment. And part of that enabling environment is that investors must not be under threat. And you must show that you are compliant to probity and transparency in governance, which is what we're asking for. If an investor comes into Nigeria today, let's assume a big name comes in and says, I want to invest in River State, just as we lost the World Bank $200 million loan on water projects, and sees that the governor is not willing to publish the budget. Is that the way America functions? Spain, where he goes to watch Real Madrid match, carrying state monies to sponsor public government officials to Spain, flying state jets to watch Real Madrid and throw parties in government house. Is that the way Spain functions? Is it that there is a tie between him and Real Madrid now to launder Rivers monies? I'm asking questions. I'm not leveling allegations. But we are saying that we cannot be frolicking in these jamborees. And then you come behind to tell the people that AMAECHI is evil. AMAECHI is not evil to this extent. To this extent on this issue. AMAECHI is not evil. If it is the standard to measure between Rotimi AMAECHI and Nyesom Wike, in fairness to both of them, as long as our budgets remain hidden, and as long as nobody can access that budget and there is no room, and the governor is not willing to also explain the budgets and the procurement laws of River State in terms of compliance thereto, then the governor of River State has more questions to answer compared to Rotimi AMAECHI. As a matter of fact, all that happened to Rotimi AMAECHI during this period was mere political. The House of Assembly members, just a few months ago, were given 30 million naira just for them to shut up by the River State governor. Because they've been asking constituency projects. None of them can talk. Is it not a shame that we have an assembly? And let nobody misconstrue what I do here. Because I'm doing what I'm doing. I did it to Rotimi AMAECHI. I can line up issues right from Audrey's administration. In my organizational capacity, in my personal capacity, we keep demanding. So I should now, remain silent like others have been cowed and not ask questions. I will ask these questions. I still have my reservations. Let them come forward and challenge everything I have said and all that I've done so far. But I call on the international community to beam its light on this matter. The life of my family and that of myself and those working with me are endangered because the River State government, led by the current governor, is taking steps to have me and my family eliminated at all costs. The security agencies, both internationally and in this country, should ensure surveillance and ensure the safety of my family and myself, because what we are doing is in good faith, and it will not be encouraging to any citizen of this country that because you ask questions, therefore you were killed.
Let me give you, first of all, what happened to Novotel? What is the current situation on it?
Well,
we know that the certificate of occupancy was revoked.
Yes.
Has the hotel been pulled down, or what's going to happen?
No, the hotel is not. I saw on social media, I don't know how correct that is, that they put up an editorial saying that it was not to their knowledge that the place was used for political purposes, and that the governor should kindly restore their CFO. I think so.
But business is still going on there.
I think so.
Like you said, it's an international.
I passed through there yesterday. I think vehicles are still moving in and out.
Okay, let me give you an assignment. Yeah. One issue that has been a recurring one here, one project, the Caribbean White Hospital.
Yes.
Can you do some assignment on that? Maybe when next I come across
that will be very, very fantastic.
When next I come across you, I'm going to ask you what you found out.
What I found out. What I found out.
What you have established. I'll compare it with what I have.
Fair enough.
Because I have a little background to that hospital.
Yes, and please.
At the time when AMAECHI was there, there was an attempt to actually arrest the contractor and all of that, and how some elders in Rivers State came lobbying on behalf of the contractor.
In doing that, Gbenga, very respectfully, don't forget to place a demand on the Rivers State government to publish our budgets. We want to, because that is the foundation. You know, I will not join in the media gang up to divert the attention of ask questions on budgets.
All right.
Bring out our budget, publish our procurement plan, let us scrutinize and determine whether you're corrupt or not.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Livingstone Wechie. He is executive director and founder. The Integrity Group has a very long history about public procurement issues in Rivers State. It's not just starting today. Thank you so much, Livingstone. I appreciate your time. That's Focus Nigeria this morning. Enjoy the rest of the day. I'll see you tomorrow, God willing.